All right, so here's a quick concept of using Figma variables to introduce an idea around wireframing. So if you don't know, there are design tokens that we have in Figma, and they're driven by variables. And what that allows you to do is that if you have like an existing design that you've used and you're using the design tokens like text color default or with the background back color default, when you put it onto another page, you can select the different themes and you can toggle between whether it's dark mode or the default mode. One common scenario that I run into is that I want to have my designs represented as a wireframe, but I don't want to like redo everything, and I don't want to take things too extreme of using Comic Sans to illustrate that. So here's what I tend to do is that I'll detach my styles and use whatever I want to use for the wireframe mode. So you can tell that the difference between the two, it looks a little bit sketchy, and kind of conveys that aspect that this is not a complete idea yet. There's more a concept. So we could use variables to represent this in the same way that we've used variables to do dark mode. So this is what I'm proposing, that we have a font default and font mono as new variables. And how that would be used is to be used to apply it to the font itself. So here I can say I want to use this variable, font default. So as you can see, that's all like that. And then I can create a new style using that variable. And that's what I've done here. I call these like custom H1, and I call this custom label bold. And all these are my custom styles that are using variables to name the font family, right? So what does that look like in practice? That once you have something like this, you can define on the page itself that there's variables. So now we have a mode here where we have the UI default, which is GitLab Sans and GitLab Mono for that. In the wireframe version, we'll use Comic Nue and GitLab Mono. So if we do something like that, and I go to this page here, then I toggle my concept. I'm using the same components, but I'm using wireframing fonts, and that conveys the effect that this is still a concept. So how does this look like in practice if we leverage everything else into like a common scenario? So let's say I took a screenshot of an area that I'm working on in code review, so summary comment, and maybe I wanted to introduce a new button, right? Like today, what I might do is get a button component, put it in here and say like, let's say discard changes, right? So I might say to my team, hey, what about this? But it looks like it's a polished, finished design, and I may get the wrong kind of feedback that I need at the time. So what we could do to all our components is inside here, we click on show more properties. So we go to label. So here, the default experience is using the UI label regular. Here I'm using the properties that is using the variable fonts. So let me discard this. I'm going to use this concept and call this label. But you can see that it's already changed the font because I'm in wireframe mode. So let's say I call this discard changes. Let's say, should we add the word now to this? I can toggle on wireframe mode, and it just works. Now I have this concept. And the beauty of this, by using other styles that exist, maybe it should be a danger. How does that work? Does that work? Wireframe mode. Okay. Doesn't work with different states. It worked in my default, but not now. So anyways, back to the example. I slapped this on here. Discard changes. Yeah. So you have this. You can discuss it with your team to see if that's all cool. And yeah, you can swap it back to default once it's locked in, or you change it there. But yeah, we can have these components at this level. If this font is not like crazy enough for us, we can choose something like Figma hand, and then we can have all of our designs have this kind of vibe if we wanted to have a more script like things. But whatever that is, it's all configurable. I think we should agree on what that is, and I think this is a small change that could give us an ability to have wireframe mode without doing too much work or create a whole new library just for wireframes. All right, thanks.